Jeremy Brown works 9 to 5 at Brownlow and Jones. He gets 4 weeks holiday, as much stationery as he can nick, and he's bored out of his brain.
Good afternoon, help desk.
He'd like to tell his boss to take his rotten job and shove it where the sun doesn't shine. But he's desperate to get a mortgage so he can stop living with his parents. So he can't. That's why Jeremy's going for an interview for a new job. And that's where we come in, because we're going to give Jeremy some help, a bit of interview practice. And at the same time, he's going to help us with an experiment. Like a lot of people, Jeremy suffers from nerves during interviews, and bad nerves spoil his performance. Now, a lot of people reckon that a good trick to help calm yourself in that situation is to imagine the interviewer naked, and that helps make you less nervous. Well, let's not imagine it. Let's do it.
You dig?
Here they are, the panel he has to face. First, they're going to interview Jeremy fully clothed. Then, they're going to get their kit off. They're going to give him a score on how well he does each time, and we'll see if he managed to perform better the second time when they're less dressed.
OK. They're ready for you.
Welcome, Mr. Brown. Hi, pleased to meet you. Take a seat there, some of my colleagues.
We're also wiring Jeremy up to a heart monitor to get a reading for each part of the interview. So, best of luck, Jeremy.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Mr. Brown.
Well, where would you like me to start? I could probably start with school, or... OK. Right.
The thinking behind this theory is that if you can imagine your interview is naked, then you'll feel that they are more human, as vulnerable as you feel, and therefore that you have nothing to fear from them. It's like if they've got everything on show, they're hardly likely to have a pop at you.
One of my jobs was to source a below-the-line marketing agency for one of their summer campaigns. So
far, Jeremy's heart rate is quite high. He's usually 60, but already he's scaling 98. The nerves are starting to show.
And what sort of salary are you expecting?
I feel as though, you know, my time in the industry has warranted a pay rise. So, you know, I feel that I could be earning something like £21,000.
Well, the panel don't seem to be too impressed so far.
Well, thank you, Mr. Brown. Thanks very much. If you'd just like to go outside and we'll be with you in a little while.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Jeremy's heart rate averaged around 88 beats per minute over that part. But how do the interviewers rate his performance?
I didn't get the feeling that there's that sort of indication of responsibility.
We want the man to do the job. I mean, is he the man? Is he a person who can't settle down, you know, and get on with the job?
I did feel that, yeah.
So it's not looking good for Jeremy. But how well will he do in the second half of the interview? Now the clothes are coming off. Will he be less tongue-tied when he gets an eyeful of this lot? Find out after the break. Also to come, fat or thin, which is it best to be if you're stranded at the North Pole? And it's claimed that these things are all indestructible. But are they? This is Brainiac, the show that puts science in tight underpants and gives it a wedgie. Coming up. Can a crack team of explosive experts get into the world's toughest safe?
This is pentalithottetranitrate, burns at 17.5 kilometres a second.
And we give so-called unbreakable objects the Brainiac treatment. But first, Jeremy Brown is having a job interview. He's also testing out a theory for us that you'll be less nervous and perform better in an interview if you can imagine your interviewers have less clothes on. So far they've been fully dressed, but for the second part they're going to interview him in their pants. The panel are ready, so how well will Jeremy do now?
OK.
They're ready for you again, sir.
It's important that we get an accurate heart reading for Jeremy at the start of this part of the interview, so we haven't pre-warned him that his interviewers are now disrobed.
Oh, Mr. Brown, would you like to take a seat again there, please?
Yes.
Well, not bad so far. Jeremy seems to be taking this new situation in his stride. However, when his mouth opens, it all starts to unravel.
So, Mr. Brown, how do you get the best out of people?
How do I get the best out of people? How do I get out the best out of people? Right, yeah, in what situation? In a work situation?
Jeremy's heart rate also tells the story. He must calm down soon, or there could be a fatality.
Yeah, I've got to obviously take each individual as their own, and you've got to sort of...
It's not looking good for our theory.
Recently, I mean...
It seems that instead of making him more relaxed, he's actually finding it harder to concentrate with so much flesh around.
A bit better.
The mouth opens, but the brain fails to engage.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, I really wouldn't mind that at all.
Right.
Would you mind filling in a health form?
Yeah, not at all.
Jeremy should now be feeling empowered, confident and capable. Instead, he appears to have turned into a gibbering mess.
Here.
He doesn't know where to put himself.
It would be nice
Yeah.
if you could just fill the details.
And how much notice would you need to give your present employer if you were offered the position?
Well, contractually, it's 1 month, but obviously that is negotiable if I get offered the job.
Ah, that's very good, very good. Well, thank you very much for coming in, Mr. Brown.
Well, thank you very much for seeing me.
Appreciated it.
Thank you very much for seeing me. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Cheers. Hopefully, speak to you soon.
Fine. Lovely. Bye.
It's all over. Our readings show that when the interviewers had their kit off, Jeremy's average heart rate was 27% higher than when they were clothed. He also visibly struggled more with bare bodies in front of him. So did the panel think he should get the
They're
job?
ready for you now.
Time to give him the bad news.
Oh, Mr. Brown, would you
Yeah.
take a seat again?
Thank you very much.
Well, after a quite extensive interview, I have to say that the first part of the interview we scored you 5 out of 10,
Right.
and the second part was 3 out of 10.
Right.
So unfortunately, we won't be able to progress your application further. Thank you very much for coming.
Well, thank you very
So,
much for seeing me.
another theory bites the dust.
Nah, didn't get it.
Naked or clothed, if you're rubbish at being interviewed, you'll always be rubbish. Back to the day job, Jeremy, you loser.